Today, we're going to talk about Jordan Peterson personality test coming up right after the intro. What's up, guys? This is JC the Black Guy, the one that will motivate you on your path to your purpose. In this channel, we give tips and tricks on how to engineer the life of your dream. So if you want to improve your health, wealth, and happiness, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Today, we're going to talk about Jordan Peterson personality test. Before I do so, I just want to say I'm sorry I haven't uploaded last week. I have been in the middle of helping my wife moving to Montreal, and we found this great place in the most unique place in North America, Old Port, Montreal. It used to look like this in the summer, but when we got there, it looked like this. Anyway, back to business. Lately, just to recap, what I've been doing is I've been doing a video series on personality tests, and there is two reasons why I'm doing so. The first reason is I want to help you find your purpose. I'm going to leave a link here on my previous video on how to find your purpose, but I want to help you find it. Key concept of finding your purpose is you need to really know yourself. You need to understand yourself, and personality tests are great tools to help you figure out yourself. And it's very good to do at least 3 personality tests so that you can get different opinion and combine it instead of just doing one. All right. So that is a reason why I'm doing a lot of personality tests, and you can choose the best 3 that you like. All right. The second reason why I'm doing personality tests is, as a business, if you're trying to do a business, it's very good to know your strength and only put your energy on your own strength and try to assign the task that you're not as good at, that is your weakness, to someone else. It also helps you find a great business partner to work with. So these are things that you want to consider if you're an entrepreneur like me. I'm going to jump on my computer, but before, I'm going to show you what the platform is. And at the end of my video, I'm going to share with you 3 things that I like about this test, 3 things that I hate, and 3 things that can be improved. So people that have made this test, I wish they can listen to this message and improve that in the next version or next iteration of this test. All right, so here we go. All right, so I'm going to leave a link to Jordan Peterson test on my description here below. But if you're interested in it, you can type on Google understandmyself.com. It's going to show you a result here. You click on the first link and boom, you get in the website. I'm not sure if that's Jordan Peterson himself, but it kind of looks like him. It's pretty a cool picture. So it basically gives you an introduction of the test. This test can be used as a psychometric test. This is a breakthrough for me, because once I did my first psychometric test, I really realized, oh man, I've been wasting my time in university. So I really encourage people to do tests like this. All right. You can know more about this test. It gives you more details. And if you want to buy it, because you have to buy this test, this is not a free one, you have to buy it. And it's about $10 US or $9.95 US. I'm in Canada, so for me, it came out to be like $13 something in change in Canadian. And that's basically it. You can pay with PayPal or with credit card straight, and that's it. Once you pay for it, it's going to give you a couple of questions. And the way the questions are phrased, they're very short and straight to the point. They made it their effort to try to use as least word as possible. And I think it's because they're trying to get the straight to the fact, right? They're trying to remove all the little literature and try get straight to the answer. So I kind of like that approach. So the way this test was made is they kind of started with the 4 big traits in personality tests. And we have talked about these traits before, right? So the shape test alluded to it with the different shapes, and the DISC assessment also alluded to this test. So prior to that, we've done the shape test, the DISC test, and the Myers-Briggs 16 personality test. So all these 3 tests actually derived from what I call the big 4 personality traits. And they can be described like this, right? Like driver, influencer, conscientious, and steadiness. So every test are kind of derived in this big 4. So the way that the Jordan Peterson is different is because they added an extra layer, 5th trait, and it's called the Neuroticism. And I'm gonna go in details later on what is different in this. He called it the big 5 aspects. Here are the traits, the big 5: agreeableness, conscientiousness, extroversion, neuroticism, and open to experience. And each of these traits are divided in 2. So you kind of like get a grade for, let's say, politeness. You also get a grade for compassion, and together they combine these grades and give you kind of like an average. I'm not sure how to calculate it, but that's basically how they give you. They give you a major, like a main grade for agreeableness, and it's divided into 2 different grades. All right. And the other thing to keep in mind is this test has been researched on 10,000 people. So 10,000 people took the same test, and you basically are comparing your own results with the results of 10,000 people and see where you fit. The results are given in a percentile model, so it's kind of like giving you a percentage of where you fit. So I'm gonna start with the first one. So agreeableness would look like this, right? This is where this is what the DISC assessment is called, the steadiness. It looks like this, or the shape test, it would be the circle. And if we would look at elements to describe people, it would be like the water type. All right. So agreeableness are people who are very kind, compliant, nurture. But it's saying that I'm 1%. So if I was in a room with 100 people, there would be 98 people that would be more agreeable than me. So I'm very not agreeable at all. Like it's either my way or the highway. And then here we go. It's saying that people with low agreeableness are not so nice, stubborn, dominant, harsh, skeptical, competitive, and in the extreme, this is me, even predatory. Wow. That means I am not a nice person. That means if I see a little prey in front of me, I'm gonna bite his neck. Oh my God. Now, something that I found interesting when I was reading this is they were saying this sentence right there: they do not see easily the best in others. Now, this is so true, especially when I was younger. Before I met my wife when I was 19. Actually, when I was 18. And before I met my wife, I only saw the worst in people. And my wife is the total opposite of me. So she's probably like very high in agreeableness. And she only sees the best of people. So together we kind of like combine and make this match, and we create this balance in a way. It's only now because I hang out with my wife so much that I'm starting to see the best. But what I do see, however, is I do see potentials. I'm very good at seeing people's potential and how great it can be. But anyway, side note. So that's basically how the test is. They give you a major grade for agreeableness, and I'm very low at it. And they give you a report. You can basically pause it if you're interested in reading it. But that's basically what it is. And it's also divided in 2 sections. So the first section is compassion, and I'm moderately low. People are low in compassion. They're not easy swayed by cuteness. That is so me. But anyway, this is politeness. Look at that. Oh my God, 0%. Holy cow. I am in the 0% of politeness. So that means I am extremely rude. Extremely rude. This means 10,000 people have taken this test. And out of 10,000 people, they have not found anyone who is as rude as me. Now, people extremely low in politeness are motivated to engage in conflict and seek out confrontation. They may find themselves frequently in trouble with authority and consequence. Oh my God, this is, I don't know. I mean, I can't lie. Look at that. People who are exceptionally low in politeness challenge and confront authority. That's true, because you know why? I don't think there is an authority other than me. I'm the authority. Now, I have like something to open up here. Like, this sentence is true. And if it wasn't my dad, I'm very grateful for my dad, because as a teenager, I was very scared of my dad, and my dad is even worse in terms of politeness. I was very scared of my dad. I didn't want to disappoint him. If it wasn't for that, I think I would probably be in prison at very young age. So this is true. But I can control myself now, and I think my dad really helped me in that. So I'm grateful for that. But it's just funny that, wow, 0%. Canadians are polite, and I guess because I grew up in Haiti, I'm just not as polite as Canadians. So if they interview 10,000 people that are Canadian, I'm definitely gonna be less polite than them. That's for sure. Anyway, wow, this is consciousness. So I'm very low in conscientiousness, and that means I'm probably more creative. And it says that couple time here. So people that are low in conscientious are less likely to be good students. There you go. They're likely to obtain poor grades in academic settings. So remember I was telling you guys, school are made for people who are conscientious and agreeable. So this shows in this test right there. And because I was basically a C student, so I'm right there here. So that's basically what this test is showing right now. It's saying that I'm in 1% industriousness. So what does that mean? What? They don't regard work as worthwhile and important. Come on. Gee, what kind of lazy bastard are these? They lack focus and are far too easily distracted. Well, that's true. I do lack focus, and I'm distracted very easily because I have a lot of thoughts. But it's in no way that, come on, what is this? Like, they aren't concerned at all with interest in schedule, timeline, or efficiency. This is not true. This is not true. I mean, timeline. Well, I'm black and I'm from the Caribbean, so I work on a different time. But with that being said, if I want to get the work done, it's gonna get done, or that's it. It's just gonna get done. And anyway, so I kind of don't fully agree with this, but I do agree that I'm very low in conscientious, so I'll give it that. Orderliness. So it's saying that I love mess. So that means, let's say there was a messy table here, there would be about 94 people that would complain that this table is messy before I do, right? This is how comfortable I am with messy. Here's an interesting quote. They see the world in shades of gray, not in black and white. Now, I find this fascinating. If you go see on my banner, I don't know if you noticed it yet, but on my banner here, go check my banner. So this is exactly how I see the world. Here's the black here, here's the white here, and here's the gray. Now, I've made a video about it. I'll show you which video. I'll leave a link to that video right there. It's it's very long video, but here's how does Star Wars, Mercedes, and a balance hold the key to happiness. So that's basically a video that I've made, and that's where I basically go in depth in this schematic that you see here, the different colors and how I see the world. And I share a lot of abstract concepts in this video, and I really recommend you to check it if you have time. But that's gonna give you a perfect illustration of what that sentence was saying, because I literally made the argument using Star Wars of the dark side and the light side, and basically show us how we were all living in a gray area and what we can learn from it. It's a very interesting video, and the purpose of that video is how to use that to know when you're out of balance and find happiness. So I really recommend you to check it out. So make sure you check it out. But this sentence right there is wow. Extroversion. So I'm very extroverted. I think we've seen that in other tests before. Very enthusiastic. So I'm not gonna spend too much time there. because I aced that part. Neuroticism, so that's the part that is fairly new. So what it says is neuroticism is a measure of general sensitivity to negative emotion such as pain, sadness, irritable, defensive, anger, fear, and anxiety. Right, so this is the aspect that you do not see in other tests. And what it's saying here is saying that I have the typical results. And like right in the middle here, 53%. And you guys can actually read it if you're interested. It's divided in two different aspects. You can pause it and read it if you want. It's saying it's withdrawal. So I'm not sure what withdrawal measures. How do you handle the unknown? New, uncertain, unexpected, threatening, complex situation. So it's basically a way to measure like how do you react into like different scenarios, especially the ones that are risky, unknown. And it's saying that I'm 12% there. So people with low level of withdrawal tend to not feel sad. Okay. I guess I don't feel sad. Disappointed, lonesome. Okay, I see where they're coming. They are quite resistant and rarely worried about social and rejection. Rarely feel hurt and threatened. So that is true. I do agree with that. Volatility. Okay, so they're saying that I'm very volatile. Individual with very high volatility tend to vary in great deal in their mood. So I would say that's true. Especially when I was younger, I had problems with that a lot. Like, it wouldn't take a lot to irritate me, and when I was irritated, like it could go anywhere from like swearing to fight. But anyway, like now as I'm an adult, I learned how to control that. So that's true. That's good. But yeah, that is definitely an accurate aspect of my personality. So I would agree with that. Now, here's the part that I'm so disappointed in this test. Open to experience. So that part basically measures creativity, artistic, intelligence, interest and intelligence. So whatever. It did not capture me. It did not capture my creativity. And I think the reason is they don't ask enough questions that is related to creativity. This test, like I said, I feel this test was made for a conscientious person. I think someone who's conscientious or amiable are going to get the most out of this test. Someone who's creative is not going to get too much out of this test. That's my opinion about it, because there weren't that many questions that were focused on creativity. And even the ones that were focused on it, they use this word called seldom. Like, I've never even seen that word. Like, English is not my first language, so I didn't understand seldom. I had to like pause the test and Google it halfway in the test to Google what seldom was, and even then I was reading it, it didn't fully get there. So I think there are some questions that I didn't answer right. But why not just say rarely? You know, like if you want to say seldom, you could just say rarely, make it very simple and straight to the point, and ask more question about creativity to bring that out there. Because like I think you were saying, like look at that, individual very low in openness to experience are much less entrepreneurial in spirit. That is so not true. Like I was literally selling bootleg CDs when I was like 8 years old, and I'm literally starting a channel about personal development and business. And they're probably gonna say people that are low in openness are also not as creative. But it also mentioned before earlier, but because my conscientious was low, that I'm more likely to be creative. So there is like you see there is a problem here, and none of the sentence that I read in this section that I could relate to. Like they're not talking to someone like me. Every other sentence there on the test that I showed you above, I relate to it. But the last section here, I did not relate to it. And my problem with that is because they didn't really ask many questions related to creativity. But that's my goal. So intellect. By the way, intellect doesn't really mean that I'm dumb. It just means that they're measuring interest in abstract ideas. Okay, and that is, if you know me, you would have said 99%. Like, actually, the video that I was talking to you about, the using Star Wars and the color of black, white, and gray, that's total abstract, pure abstract. You can go and check it out. In conclusion, I would recommend this test because first, it's cheap. It's $10 basically, and it really talks to you in a way, like, it doesn't sugarcoat anything, right? It talks to you in a way that is straightforward. It tells you what you need to know, and it even goes in a deep, dark side of you. And like I said, if you really want to be finding your passion, your purpose, you need to embrace your weaknesses, embrace your dark side. Don't try to get rid of your dark side. Embrace it and just find ways to live around it. That's the best approach. And I love this test because this test is really going to focus on your dark side. But so three things that I like I said, first is no BS. There is it helps you understand your negative aspect, your weaknesses, and also it has this unique method that you don't see in other tests that measures like your negative emotions. So these are my 3 points that I like about it. The 3 points that I hate about this test. First one is it focuses too much on the negativity. Now, like the Myers-Briggs, for example, is a test that focuses too much on the positivity. This one is like the direct opposite of it. To me, it's also not as accurate enough. I don't think the test is accurate enough, and the result is I'm reading the last part and I can't relate to any part of it. And it's the reason is they ask a lot of questions that was related to conscientious and amiable, but they don't ask many questions that is related to creativity, even extroversion. But at least with the answer that they asked, it captured that I was extroverted, but it didn't capture that I was creative, and it's not accurate enough to me. So that's the part that I don't like about it. And it's also in the model that it's comparable to others, but I kind of like, if I'm paying for a test, I just want to know more about myself and less about others, right? Like, what if we put all these, how do I compare with people in Asia, or how do I compare in people in like South America? Like, if you're gonna compare with people, like, I need some information about the people that you're comparing to, and I couldn't really find that. But anyway, so these are the things I don't really like about it. The thing I don't like about it is it doesn't synthesize all these results. Like, for example, it gives you all this data, the text to describe it, and then the data like a scientist, you know? It assumes that we're a scientist. But what I wish I would see is kind of like either give us a title or a small paragraph that summarize or synthesize or compile all this information into like very easy digestible way to read it and understand it and share it with others. So that's what I don't like about it, and that's exactly my point about how to improve it. Well, that's exactly what I mentioned is you can basically compile the information and share it. Like Myers-Briggs, they give you a title like I'm a debater. So right there, I can tell someone I'm a debater. I don't have to tell someone, by the way, I'm 0% polite, 1% agreeable. Like they won't relate with that. I want it to be more relatable. It's too analytical, right? The results are good, very analytical, but what do I do with what does it all mean? And that's what I would like to see from it. That's how it can be improved. Another way it can be improved is the test can also like give advice on what to do with this information. Like, how do I get the most out of this information? I wish I would see that more, especially on a paid test. If I'm paying, it's because I'm seeking for information. I am trying to get advice somewhere. And I wish this test could compile this information just like they did, and also compile it even more simpler. But at the same time, I wish they also give me information. For example, maybe someone who's low in conscientious should not look in these type of jobs, or etc. Someone who's conscientious should probably look into law or like something like this, like something to help me figure out what should I do with my life. I mean, I know what to do with my life, but I'm just saying this is one of my critics for this test and things that can be improved. And also, last thing I would say that would be improved is focus a little bit more on the positivity, because I love that this is kind of like the direct opposites of what the Myers-Briggs test would be. It's a lot of the negative emotion and understand your kind of like the evil that's within you. But at the same time, I wish we can transform that. Okay, so how do we stop you from becoming the worst person ever and put that into something good? I wish I would see something like that, or some lines or some text about it, but none of that. It was just basically, here you go, you're a predator, you're not polite, go out there and live your life. Anyway, so these are my main observation about this test. Would I recommend this test? Absolutely. I think you would still find information that are valuable, especially you can compare yourself with others. Again, I would wish I could have more information about who are the people that I'm being compared to. It's a different version of the Myers-Briggs, and with a little bit of like opposites of Myers-Briggs. So I kind of like that part. Next video, I'm gonna talk about another test. Actually, I loved it. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't done so. I really like to make these videos and learn more about myself. I'm learning every day. And watch also the links of other prior videos that I have done, and also that abstract video that we're talking about. It's pretty unique. You have never seen anything like this on YouTube. I guarantee you that. So wait for next video. Until then.